everybody, and welcome to Alcohol and Arcana, a questionably accurate discussion on fantasy lore. I'm your stony solicitor, Blake.
I'm your basalt beholder, Bryce.
I'm your tough-acting, tenactin, gelatinous dude, Travis.
Hell yes.
You got a little bit of athlete's foot today?
I do, yeah. It's no, I don't have athlete's food, but I am prone to it, so I thought
Athlete's food is pretty much any food, though, right?
Athlete's food is,
Yeah.
depends on the athlete.
Athlete's
Yeah, that's true.
food. Yeah.
Athlete's food.
Oh, that makes
Athletes
way
eat
more
anything
sense.
nowadays. They eat anything.
Well, that's
Anything.
true.
What are we talking today? Or what are we talking about today, Travis? Because it's not athlete's food.
If I'm not mistaken, I think today's topic is probably the topic with which we have the most robust and numerous lore sources, and that is the world-famous Cockatrice. Cockatrice.
Did you guys
that
get a lot
right?
of porn when you Googled this?
I assumed it was only porn. I only got
Well,
porn when
I was about to
Googled
say, there's a monster included, except for, well, anyways, let's go on.
But before we talk more about the Cockatrice, the world-famous Cockatrice, let's get into what everybody's drinking. Bryce, want to kick us off?
Bryce,
Oh,
what you
sure,
drinking?
man. I got the best one here. I have a Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company Dreamsicle.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
that is.
I haven't had it. Have you had it? It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
Hopefully
it's
it tastes like
another
a Dreamsicle.
nice,
I have
another nice summer refreshing, kind of fruity.
It is.
creamy beer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 5.9%, like I said, from Buffalo Bayou here in Houston. It has got a nice little food truck type
Nice.
artwork with a dreamsicle on top. And I'm excited to try it.
One of my good buddies actually works for Buffalo Bayou.
Oh, yeah.
His favorite perk is like when they first start like canning beers, they goof quite a bit of them, so they can't sell them. So he just gets to take home beers.
That's sick. Yeah, and I'm sure they're all really good still too.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just like the cans or the bottles are like filled by less than an ounce or more than an ounce over the 12-ounce mark. So it's like they can't legally sell them, but it's still just as good.
This is really good, and you know what I like most about it is it does have the fruit flavor in there, but it's a subtle fruit flavor. The beer is
Okay.
still the forward flavor, and I really like that. So,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go next, Blake. Actually,
Why would you do that,
because-
Travis?
I've got a really nice beer that I actually mentioned last week when we recorded the previous podcast, and that is Abita Purple Haze. It's a raspberry lager from the Abita Brewing Company. It's fantastic. Another kind of nice and refreshing summer lager, summer fruity lager. Not a lot going on the can except a really cool teal and purple pattern, and it's just one of my favorite beers. And I'm so glad that I'm drinking this, and I'm sure no one else has anything else that they'd like to expand upon that, because it's singularly perfect, and you don't really need to add anything else to it, and I don't know who would. So anyway, let's move on to Blake. What are you drinking today?
Oh, well, wouldn't you know it, Travis? I
Hold on.
am
I
also
just wanna-
discussing. Huh?
I just want to point out that Travis is really excited about this beer, but not excited enough to pop it open and drink it. Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, I'd also like to point that out. But I would
Supposed
also
to be
like
drinking
to
the
say,
beers. I just thought we were supposed to be talking about the cans.
I only do the artwork. I'm also discussing a beer we talked about last week, which is a Barney. Which a Barney is if you take Travis's beer, a Purple Haze, and then you add to it an Andigator, which is another Abita beer, and it also has a wonderful logo. If you're asking Travis, it is a big old alligator, and it
That's an
has a
IPA,
crown
right?
on it. No, it's actually a Hell's Doppelbock.
Oh shit, I'm so wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are.
It's interesting.
However, the best part about this is the flavor from the Purple Haze actually really shines through the Andigator in this. The Andigator does add a little bit to it for sure, but basically, I'm drinking a much stronger version of Travis's beer because he's a little boy who can't handle strong beers.
Yeah, I'm a little tiny boy. I need a little
Just a
tiny,
little-
Listeners,
tiny ABV
now-
beer.
Listeners out there, you don't have to drink high alcohol to prove yourself. If you want to drink low alcohol, that's fine.
You absolutely can. I'm just specifically making fun of Travis because he tried to get all up in my lane
Yeah.
with Purple
Travis
Haze.
is a little bitch, though.
That is accurate.
That is true. I can't debate or deny that.
let me go ahead and get a sip of this bad boy. It's been a hot minute since I've actually made one of these, and let's see if it's just as good as my memory serves.
So you don't do it like a black and tan where you try to separate them. You just kind of mix them all in there.
Yeah, you kind of just want to alternate how much you're pouring. Just make sure it's about half and half of each, and it is absolutely delicious. It's
Pour it in a bucket. Get a
Just as
ladle.
good as you remembered.
Yeah, no, it's exactly as good as I remember doing it. There was a pizza place called Schlitz and Giggles in Baton Rouge. And
I've seen that place.
Yeah. So Schlitz and Giggles used to sell pictures of Barney. So that's the last time I had it. It's been probably about that long.
Oh wow,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
that's awesome that they'd sell a picture of it. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. Well, good. No, Abita Purple Haze. Abita Brewing, first of all, is just a great brewing company, and then Purple Haze has
Absolutely.
got to be one of my favorite beers.
Also, side note on Abita, if you're not into alcohol but love root beer, their like homemade root beer is also incredible.
Yeah, I've had that before. It's also
All right, so we are talking about cockatrices today. Bryce, why don't you Cockatry? We're
I don't
talking
know
about
if
the
that's plural or
Cockatry.
not.
Nope, that's what it is now. We're talking about
Okay.
the Cockatry. And Bryce, why don't you let us know exactly what these boys look like? Paint us a picture here, Bryce.
Yeah, so really this is just like a scary turkey. Think about it that way. It's it is the size of a large turkey or goose, it says.
Oh.
About 25 pounds. It,
Wow, I was
Again, I
picturing
didn't
this
know
much
that.
bigger. Picturing
I
this
actually-
much
yeah,
bigger.
no, it's a small boy.
It does say small monstrosity, at least in the 5th edition Monster Manual,
Yeah.
but
So they
Yeah, but
there
I
are
didn't
other
read that.
sources of this. The Cockatrice in Witcher 3 was much bigger.
Yeah, dude.
So the Cockatrice isn't unique to D&D. However, it has been in all D&D. Like every edition has had one, starting with the very beginning. Like even like the first not even real D&D. It was like the first trial run that Gary Gygax wrote. He had Cockatrice in it, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So
it
even
has the
before first edition, the very, very first edition of D&D, known as the King James Version of the Bible,
Yep, that one.
mentions the Cockatrice 4 times, actually. And I was really excited to get into this because I was happy we were expanding our lore sources into the Word of God.
So
And so
As
I really
Travis
enjoyed
just waits for his
incorporating this into my
opportunity.
daily Bible study.
This has all been a
So-
trick, listeners. Anyway, welcome to your new podcast.
so what does he look
it was
like?
a long con.
Well, I'll tell you what he looks like. He has the head and body of a rooster, bat wings, and the long tail of a lizard. And I think later it kind of described it more serpent-like than a lizard. But
Yeah, the 5th edition picture is definitely more reptilian than anything you just described.
yeah, and then eventually they started describing it like a small dragon, which I think is bullshit. Not everything has to look like a dragon. This thing looks more like a turkey than a dragon.
Now, this at least in the 5th edition, the very first sentence of it calls it like a hybrid of a lizard, a bird, and a bat. So they kind of push away from the dragon references, at least in the 5th edition.
Good.
I would say my impression of looking at the image is that it's like caught right in the middle of the evolutionary period between like the raptor and a bird or like
Yeah.
a hawk. It's like
Yeah,
we
that's
just
actually-
snagged that right out of the evolutionary tree.
Pretty good. I don't know how I got
just
the
about
bat
midway.
wings, but
Oh
it
yeah,
has
that's a good
bat
point. I don't really
wings,
know about the bats.
which is
but,
kind of cool.
Well, his parents were murdered in an alley, and from there it kind of just, just rolled downhill.
Travis almost died choking on his drink.
Yes.
So, what else do we know about these boys? Well, we know most of them are boys. Females are really rare.
Really?
Why?
you guys know that?
Why is
Yeah.
that?
That
Sounds
sounds like
to
my
the female.
parties in high school.
Yeah. Now, so if you read the earlier editions, like first edition, second edition, they don't put numbers on it, but they just say like the males far outnumber the females like by a lot. I think later on, in Dragon Magazine number 95, another Ed Greenwood article, he wrote
of
so
course.
much shit. He puts a number on it. I think he says it's like
Ed,
65%.
get a life.
Yeah. He says like 65% to 35%. But since the
But
females
that's the
are-
ratio.
Yeah. That he gives.
Yeah, it's better than my wife's University Colorado School of Mines.
And they
Mine
go on
sucks.
further
I'm
that since the ratio is like that, the female's dominant sex, much like
Oh.
with us.
Much
We can all relate.
like the Colorado School of Mines.
Yeah. So the females kind of choose who's going to be with them, and they have a harem of male cockatrices with them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So the males are just constantly trying to like impress females, like, oh, I want to get with this group. I want to be one of her dudes. So
this is probably our most progressive and woke monster we've done so far.
oh, clearly.
Yeah, it's not even close.
That's why they're so interesting. Yeah.
No, it's interesting. It kind of. Did you guys read up on like the origin of the cockatrice and how it's like a cock's
Tell
egg?
us.
Did you hear that? Like it's kind of a very male dominated like origin, and so that kind of doesn't surprise me that ratio stems. I think it kind of stems from that.
Instead of leaving it vague, why don't you fill us in on the details of this?
Oh, I'm just let me consult my extensive source, the Wikipedia, where it talks a little bit about how I think in the 14th century they kind of had this myth that a cock would lay an egg and then it would be incubated by a toad or a serpent, and that would form eventually, ultimately, a cockatrice. And then one interesting thing is to prevent that from happening, if you do stumble across a cock egg, which I'm not sure how that's distinguished from a hen egg.
It looks like a
you
penis.
throw it. Oh, it's just completely phallic. So it's probably your wife's dildo that you stumble across. But the ultimate solution to that is you throw it over the house, and it has to land on the other side of the house without touching the roof.
My wife is going to have so many questions when I do this.
That just feels so. You couldn't just hurl it at your brick wall. It has to go over the roof.
And it can't touch the roof.
Listen, let me tell you, the 14th century folk were real dumb, and I think this is really listeners making that more manifest.
I want to point out, listeners, Travis's opinions are his own. We apologize to any 14th century.
I'm trying not to offend our 14th century listeners, but I mean, a spade is a spade. You got to call it out.
Yeah, it's when they go to the doctor. Sorry, doc, I'm sick. Well, I don't know. It's probably demons. Do cocaine about it, I guess.
Yeah, dude. And
this cockatrice is most certainly on cocaine right now in this D&D 5th edition image.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
So the image of it is something, but really what the most interesting part of a cockatrice and why I think they're interesting is they have a petrification ability, so they can turn their victims into stone, right?
Yeah, not right away. I thought it was right away.
Wait, hold on. It is right away. Fuck.
No, it takes some time, at least in 5th edition.
Okay, yeah, 5th edition's dumb. All the other ones is not.
Well, what is it in the other
one? It doesn't
just
necessarily. So yeah, hold on. In 5th edition, it doesn't necessarily take some time. You can save against it like twice, right?
Oh yeah, I see. I just see begins to turn to stone. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's a DC 11.
Yeah, after your second fail though, it's just you're turned to stone.
Oh,
for
you're
24
done.
hours.
Yeah, no, that's
24 hours. Yep.
So 5th edition, I think, is the only one that puts the 24 hours on it. All the other ones, like, you're turned to stone until someone turns you not to stone.
What would you guys think about if you were turned to stone for 24 hours? I guess, like, what would you...
Oh, yeah.
What would you kind of do if you were just completely still and had no range of motion or ability to speak for 24 hours?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. It would not be much different from my day-to-day.
Yeah.
I typically don't
just
move
me right now
for
in front of my
24
computer.
hours.
I would pray I wasn't walking anywhere. Says if I was in public, there's a decent chance I'd be torn down.
Because you look like a Confederate general.
I have long hair and a beard.
No better comparison.
Like if I looked slightly upwards, it wouldn't be a great statue regardless. A, not attractive. B, not well kept up. Like it's not. I look like a target that should be torn down. Is all I'm saying.
And you also still won't refer to it as a civil war, only the War of Northern Aggression.
That is untrue, Travis. We are not putting that into the world, sir.
Travis,
that is untrue.
Travis, I had never heard of it referred to as that until you. So I think you're the one putting that out in the world.
I'm happy to spread
I'm with Travis. Growing up in the South, I've absolutely heard that from people.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely a thing.
I kind of lived in a unique state. So I lived in Kentucky.
Kentucky was a northern state, what?
It was a northern state. It was split until they were kind of forced to choose a side, and they're like, all right, I guess we're north then. Yeah, but most people in the north consider Kentucky the South, and most people in the South consider Kentucky the North. So I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't know. As a Southerner, personally, I've always been like, yeah, Kentucky's one of us. Like,
yeah, I mean, Appalachia, we're dumb as hell. So
I mean, yeah, y'all like the accent alone, and I'm like, family, come on in there, brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
So
there it is.
Mark, got a mark on that one.
Wouldn't be a podcast without Travis burping.
I tried to encroach on his space earlier.
I've heard some good burps and belches from you two so far this episode. So
not me.
I was trying to live up to your standard, and I fell short. I feel emasculated right now.
You don't mess with the best.
So what else do we know about it turning to stone? Did you know anything else about the turning to stone? Because I do, but I want to see what you guys know first.
I know nothing apart from it looks like you turn to stone for 24 hours.
Yeah. So for 5th edition, if what I read was, I briefly read 5th edition. I mostly read the other ones, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think with 5th edition, it has to be a bite. A bite from the beak is what turns you to stone.
Yeah, it's definitely it.
That's what I'm seeing,
It's
too.
specifically
Yeah.
listed in its action for bite.
Okay. So for all of the other editions, and I don't know why they changed this, any touch. If
Any
they have
touch.
any touch, they touch you, they turn you to stone. But they have to touch like bare skin. So if you're wearing clothing or armor, it won't go through that. But also, like, I guess they're not very strong. So evolutionarily speaking, they're really good at finding if you have any bare skin. So if any is exposed, it's going to be assumed that, like, yeah, they go for that. They have a good chance of getting it. But most people wore like full armor, so you might not. I mean, you might not
I don't
be
know.
exposed.
Then I'll be honest. I kind of like the bite mechanic that 5th edition adds.
Yeah.
Just specifically because of that. Like, at least from a rule standpoint, the bite is probably a little better than the touch, since you
Well,
are right.
and-
Everyone's typically in full armor anyway, so
Yeah.
it kind of
Well,
adds a little bit.
I think in around 3rd edition, they did alter it a little bit to where if he does use his beak, if you're only wearing like clothing or leather, you can say like, oh, it could get through your armor and then turn you to
Okay.
stone that way. Also, another interesting fact about the cockatrice, they don't have to turn you to stone. They can choose not to.
Oh.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to eat, like, especially in the earlier
Oh,
editions.
yeah.
So
Yeah, all right.
They
Let's
can,
eat
they can,
rocks.
yeah, they can make a
Like you, like
yeah,
Bryce, you eat rocks.
a rock liquor. They can make the conscious choice to not turn you to stone, but it has to be a conscious choice. Like, their default is to turn everything that they touch to stone. But even when they do that, their tail always remains like active, so their tail is always going to turn you.
Okay.
And they know this, so they try to avoid touching their food with their tail. So
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Which is a little strange that 5th edition doesn't have like a tail action.
right,
Like there's no action for the cockatrice to use their tail, just to bite.
Fifth edition really
must have
dropped the ball on
removed it.
this.
Yeah, no, like for 5th edition, it's very, very light on anything really.
Yeah, because I feel like
There's a single paragraph.
Yeah, I mean it's only
Yeah, well,
it's
I
a
mean-
half challenge, a half CR rating, so that's
Yeah,
like that's awful.
yeah, I think it used to be like a 3. I mean, it was never
Yeah.
high.
Three's pretty
there
good.
is- Yeah, there's like several. I think there's like 3 or 4 monsters that are pretty famous for petrification, and this is the lowest tier of those.
And you
Yeah,
got,
it
like,
makes
the
sense.
basilisk, the Medusa.
Well, the Basilisk
hey.
is a CR3, so it would make sense that there's no reason to have 2 CR3s that use petrification. So they probably lightened up the
think-
cockatrice just so you can use for low level adventures.
I think the Gorgon.
Blake
has-
would be the first to call out the writers of D&D to be like, hey, man, you can't have 2 fucking challenge rating 3 petrification monsters. Get the fuck out of here with this shit.
I think the Gorgon also
Also
can
likes
do
the seasons.
petrification.
What's the Gorgon, Bryce?
I think the Gorgon can also do petrification.
All right,
I don't know a lot about the Gorgon, so maybe we'll.
I
do
know
that one
nothing
later.
about it. So
Isn't the Medusa a Gorgon technically in like Greek mythology?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. I guess we'll
So,
do that
man,
one
we're
later,
getting all-
folks.
we're just getting all confused at this point.
Yeah. What else is there about these? Let's see.
They're really feisty. That's really
They're
the
really
main
feisty.
point
Yeah.
of that paragraph in 5th edition is that they're just super aggressive.
Well, I mean, kind of. Have you ever, been around a rooster? They're mean as hell. It's kind of, it's kind of like
I
that.
guess so. Yeah, they're very territorial. In mythology, actually, one of the ways to kill a cockatrice is to let it hear the the crow of a cock.
Let them see
Like
the
a-
stroking of a cock, and they die immediately.
Happens to me. I die a little inside.
So you just got to
every
whip
time
it
you-
out. That's not something that I did in The Witcher 3, but I guess that was one of the cheat codes. Is you just
You
whip out your
didn't press.
dick.
You just had to press. You just had to press X, and it would have been just fine. It would all
Yeah, I think
worked
it's like,
out.
well, that's X on
you ever got off
PlayStation,
Roach?
but I think on the Xbox, the cock stroking button is R2.
Oh,
You have
that's
to get off roach,
accurate.
and then get
well,
off.
you have to jerk
roach.
Roach off, and then you do it.
Oh my god!
Why do you have to get Roach off, you freak?
That's not how you played the game.
There's
I didn't
so
know
many
we could jerk
unsatisfied
Roach off.
roaches
That's
in all of
literally-
our listeners' Witcher playthroughs. There's so many unsatisfied roaches.
I never finished the
Stupid.
game. I
No
only
one-
finished roach.
No one knew. Good lord. And we started this episode with Bible study, and this is where we landed.
Seems pretty typical, actually.
Yeah. This is how all my Bible studies go.
Yeah, not surprising.
Straight to stroking.
Yep. Do you know where these boys are found?
False premise.
God, am I the only one that did my homework?
We did
No,
our homework. We do
no, we
5e
did, but then-
homework. You do backstory story homework. That's
Yeah,
how
we-
this show
we're-
works.
It's
found in-
established. We do 5th edition.
They're found
And
in
you do
temperate,
everything else.
They're found in temperate and tropical climates, both underground and above ground.
Okay, so
Remind
most
me.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
places.
So,
What is a temperate? What does that mean? I guess like paint me a picture of what a temperate.
Where you live now.
Okay,
It
Houston.
has seasons.
yeah.
Houston is temperate.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
more like North Texas. That has a little bit more of seasons. Is temperate, just a moderate climate.
That's why I stay out of Dallas.
Yep.
I don't want
I-
to come
Well,
across no
among other
cockatrices.
reasons.
I got so many reasons to stay out of that shithole.
Yeah. I try to stay out of Texas, but I live here, so
Hey, you take that back.
it's not going very well.
I'm failing pretty hard at that one.
Also, whenever you are petrified, you are not only it doesn't only affect you on this plane of existence, also on the ethereal plane of existence and
Oh, shit.
another plane.
What?
Also, I forget which one it is.
That is actually the most interesting thing I've heard about these things so far.
Yeah, I told you, man. These things they got depth. You just gotta dig for it.
Yeah, I mean, but I didn't. I read my 5th
Clearly.
edition paragraph, and now
Clearly.
here's where I'm at.
Like, oh, what are we doing today? All right, this one will be easy. I got 3 sentences to read. Let's go.
Hey, look, I'm here to add my voice to the choir,
guys are
whether or
lucky.
not
I
I
gotta
read
read-
the lyrics.
I gotta read these Ed Greenwood articles, and God, Ed, you did some good work, but Jesus, these
mean-
articles are not fun to read.
Are they really that bad? Like it's just pure lore?
Well,
like
okay, for
like
one-
let's talk about Ed Greenwood because now we can get into some things.
Let's talk about
Is it
this.
like
For
reading
one,
the Silmarillion, where
It
it's just
is-
like,
Oh,
holy
that sounds
shit, this is so
miserable.
dense.
it is well known that I can't read anyway, so anything's
true.
going to be kind of a chore for me.
That's
He
true.
uses way too many 3+ syllable words.
Oh God, the amount of sentences is just there's a lot.
What's
And
your
then
normal
they-
sentence limit before you just get mentally exhausted?
One.
Wow, that's pretty low.
Well, it depends on how many
So you're like,
words are in
the
the
extent
sentence.
of my reading is a Family Circus comic,
I mean,
and
if
that's
you're
about as
talking-
much as I can go.
If you're talking a complex sentence with like 6 or 7 words, yeah, 1. That's
No, that's fair. That's fair.
that's a lot to chew on.
I mean, you do read mainly to your boy at night, so I mean, you're
No.
used to the fox jumps over the cow.
He
Like-
he logs
He
on to
reads-
Twitter and reads one tweet and then just like passes out.
No man, he reads to me now.
Oh shit!
He got tired of me getting it wrong.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. No, Dad, it's a silent H.
I knew that. I was testing you. I knew that.
Yeah, of course.
Of course I knew that.
Well, I actually no. This is the first time I've read a Bible in a long time. I read 4 verses to do a little bit of research into the cockatrice. There are 4 verses in the King James Version edition of the Bible that include the word cockatrice, all in
Go on.
Isaiah and Jeremiah, and they're all from a mistranslation of cobra.
And it's all bullshit. All right. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
Travis. Welcome
So
back to
you're
this
talking?
section of our
You're telling
podcast.
me Adam and Eve, right? It wasn't a snake. It was a cockatrice. This is what I'm hearing.
No.
No.
As
Turns
far
out
as
I can't hear
remember,
either.
no. As far as I remember, no. I don't think there was a cockatrice in the Garden of Eden.
Well, I mean, if they were naming every single animal,
Cockatrice.
that's a cockatrice.
Also, the pronunciation of cockatrice. I actually, when I was playing through The Witcher 3, I thought it was cockatrice. But
You
cockatrice
would.
does make way more sense once I heard it, actually, for the first time from Blake last week. I was like, oh yeah, that's probably a better way to pronounce that word.
I've
Let's
never
be
even
honest,
thought
I'm
of
probably pronouncing it
that way.
wrong.
No, I'm with you. I've always said cockatrice. I don't know.
Yeah, well, then I watched a video on the difference between a cockatrice and a basilisk, and the guy on the video pronounced it cockatrice, and I was like, that's
Oh, I hate
way
that.
wrong.
Now we can agree.
I
That's
hate that. So that actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bryce.
No,
what were you
it's
saying?
fine. Go ahead. I've talked a lot. You.
I was saying that actually leads me to what I want to talk about today, which is that's a shitty name, right? Like,
Yeah.
It is a shitty.
I think
name,
we can
yeah.
all agree that's a really shitty name for a monster that's not that bad. So I think we need to rebrand this monster, right?
Fair.
We've got to rebrand this monster to make people really care about it a little bit more than they already do, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So in the 6th edition, we're going to get more than one paragraph for this,
yeah, I know.
for this creature.
Please, and a new name, please, Jesus. Used to be called the Cockatrices, but too many people giggled, so we renamed it. So What are we going with? And I put forward early, but we're not going to go with it immediately. But just because I know we never pick your first one, the Penis-a-Trisk. And that's because that way it's PC enough to tell to younger children. And that way they grow up with a penis.
A girl with a penis.
A
Right.
Trisk.
Yeah. I think I think
It's an awful name just to start this conversation.
I think I don't know what
please.
to think about that. I was initially thinking Dickolick and
Dickolick.
Penis-a-lisk. Penis-a-lisk.
Penis-a-lisk.
See, I was
It's
gonna
awful.
go.
I
It's
like
the
that.
fucking
I don't know.
worst. It,
I
no,
was
it's
gonna-
the
It's
worst.
growing on me. That
it's a horrid
penis-a-lisk.
joke.
It's growing on me.
It's
I
a
was gonna-
horrid joke, and we can move on. So,
I was gonna keep the first one, the first
Dickolick.
part. I was
Go
gonna,
ahead.
I was gonna
Penis.
I was gonna name it like a cockadoodle.
that's a movie, though, isn't it?
That's Rockadoodle.
Ah, that's a good
Oh,
movie.
yes,
And that is a
though.
good-ass
That is a
movie,
good
man.
movie.
I remember that movie. I actually really liked that.
That was
Yeah.
7-year-old me loved that film. I'm sure it's not as great as I remember.
No, man, they
I
had a
watched
banger
another
of a
movie-
song in that movie.
Have you seen it recently?
Not too long ago. I have it on a flash drive somewhere, I think.
No shit.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember that.
Submitted
it
to a
might have
felony
been
that
fired.
online, or that's pretty cool. You just submitted to a felony of pirating Rockadoodle. But anyway,
I didn't pirate it. I found this flash drive on the street. I just have it.
yeah, I remember the summer where everybody was just stumbling on flash drives of Rockadoodle. It was kind of like a weird thing where you
there was
couldn't
some kind
step
of-
anywhere on the sidewalk without crunching up a flash drive of Rockadoodle.
Some kind of
2006
guerrilla
was a
marketing.
strange time.
The FBI remembers. They're going to clear you of that.
They remember.
I watched a movie last night. Speaking of old movies that I hadn't seen since I was a little child, Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh,
you guys remember that?
Great movie, the Boom Boom Sticks, dude.
I love that.
I love that movie.
Watched it. I made Michelle watch it, and
Yeah, I was
she
about to
hated
say,
every
you and-
second of it.
You and Michelle, it's like the end of the day. I always watch a movie and go to bed, right? How about let's do the Muppet movie.
Travis,
Well, we watched
I wish
season
you
3
would've called.
Westworld, and it's a little heavy, Let's lighten it up a little bit. And we put on Muppet Treasure Island. There's a lot of violence and death in that movie. Actually, I was kind
Yes.
of surprised. They followed Treasure Island, the book, pretty closely. So I mean, you get Billy Bones that dies like right in the middle, and they're like they like address it like this is supposed to be a kids movie, and there's like a death
Oh God.
right away.
So I kind of want to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, seeing as you're talking about that. It reminded me of the children's movie that scared me the most when I was young, and that was The Neverending Story. So
Yeah,
I gotta ask you guys,
Pure
what kids
trauma.
movie? Yeah, that werewolf was the worst, and the rock monster, and
yeah, there were
everything
so
about
many
that.
things that scared
Oh my
me.
God! I
The
just
Dying
realized where
Horse,
I know the
Atreyu?
cockatrice from. Hold
Oh.
on, I just realized where I know this cockatrice from. The
ahead.
Dark Crystal.
Oh,
These are fucking
nice.
cockatrices the whole time. Those little those birds that were sapping the energy from all the creatures. Those were cockatrice.
Speaking of, Netflix is coming out with a full series called The Dark Crystal. Like
They already
extending
did.
That. Oh, my bad. I didn't know it was already out.
They already did. I watched one episode and I was like, this is
All
not
took.
as good as I remembered when I was a kid. but no, it's out. It's
that's enough.
there.
So
Yeah.
I gotta ask though, what movie as a kid that was made for kids scared the shit out of you? Mine was absolutely The Neverending Story. That scared the fucking piss out of me.
Yeah, that one scared me too. But I was kind of a little bitch. I was scared of everything. So I'm trying to think of a movie that didn't scare me. Honestly,
One memory that comes immediately to mind for me is the Home Alone, where he goes in and he sees the heater from the basement.
Oh yeah.
I remember just being super scared by that for some reason, and I don't really remember why, but that heater
yeah,
It was
just
enough.
fucked me up as a kid.
I think a brave little toaster for some reason.
Oh,
I don't
shit.
remember what it was about it that scared me, but I think something in it scared me.
Oh my god. Yeah, I
It was
get
probably the actual genuine emotional connection to another person, and
that. I know we're going down a rabbit hole here, but slight rabbit hole for that one. When I had an ex-girlfriend in college who moved into a new place, and hidden in the closet of her bedroom was a painting of the brave little toaster.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know they made a
That's-
second one?
that's hiding it in a
What?
closet just makes it creepier.
Yeah, it's weird as fuck, and it's terrifying, but it was
There was
there.
a-
She
There was
hung
a
it up.
There was a brave little toaster too.
Why would
I don't
you ever?
remember-
You don't need a brave little toaster too.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it, but it exists. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like Toy Story, just like depressing.
Yeah, Except with
Yeah,
appliances. Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Because
man.
that was his toaster, and then he moved to college or something. So I'm gonna need a toaster.
With
in
the
college.
petrification ability of a cockatrice, is there some sort of utility or appliance that you could replace with a cockatrice if you had it in your house?
Well, what do you try to make hard in your home?
Hey, yeah, go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, Travis.
Maybe we should ask Michelle.
Hey.
Okay, I thought that would go better, but
No, I mean I'm with you. I'm right there with you. But what item do we need to it just touches it and it turns to stone? We can make a lot of money with this, I'm sure.
Well, okay, so that's
in some
actually
way.
part of the lore is these things were prized, so you could collect its venom or feathers or something, and you could sell it, and they were prized by sculptors who were lazy. They would
That's
kidnap,
awesome.
they would kidnap people or whatever, and turn them to stone. Yeah, I sculpted this.
good lord.
They all look frightened.
It's so
Oh
funny.
god, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
So if you're a sculptor, there
so
you go.
much more humiliating knowing that they're actually the size of a turkey. If you captured a cockatrice and you knew it was kind of big and you were turned to stone and tortured in that manner, it would make more sense. But the fact that you just have like a turkey gobbling around and that's what ends up doing you in, that's
You've
pretty-
never had a large turkey after
embarrassing.
you, have you? It is scary as fuck.
that much is
I
clear.
haven't. I guess I'm a rare
been around
breed
a
where I have not
Canadian
personally been
geese?
attacked by a turkey.
or
You ever
goose.
had
I mean, same
Canadian
thing.
geese?
Yeah.
No, I haven't been attacked by a goose.
What about a
Well,
pelican?
Yeah, it's
I
the
have
same
no.
thing.
I have been attacked by a rooster though, and I do assume it's similar. I have been chased by a rooster, and it is quite. Just I was very distraught.
Nothing you can do. Can they fly? I don't know.
No,
I
you
mean,
can't.
kinda.
I honestly could not escape. It was relentless, and it was. It wasn't like any other animal where they're kind of territorial and they're just get off my turf and you're fine. It was chasing me for a long distance, and I was like, this is. I don't know if I have the endurance to.
There's no
to
escape. It's
outlast
really
this
it
rooster.
has the revenant ability where it knows where you are.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
it can find you.
and it will.
We're not talking about the cockatrice anymore. We're talking about a real ass rooster. It knows where you are and it can find
To
you.
this day. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably
You better
20 years
hope
ago.
it dies before you do because it's coming.
It's there for me.
So let's see. A couple other things about the cockatrice just while we're spitballing here. The eggs hatch in 11 to 19 days.
Damn, that's pretty
How does that
quick.
compare to a chicken? I actually
I
don't
don't
know.
have any fucking idea.
I will look that up while Bryce continues
Yeah,
facts.
get on
Yeah.
that, Blake.
So yeah,
on
the
it.
eggs
I'm on it.
hatch
I'm on it.
in 11 to 19 days, and it takes 6 months for them to reach maturity, which leads me to believe that their lifespan is not very long.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
That's all I got on that.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Let me give you a chicken egg fact here in a moment.
Also, look
I-
up the lifespan of a chicken.
Okay.
While
All
you're
right.
at it, just here, I got a list of things.
I'm on. All right, so a chicken egg takes 21 days to hatch.
Okay, so not
Okay.
too much shorter than that. It's almost the same.
All right, lifespan of a chicken is that I think that we're good after that. Lifespan of a chicken is 5 to 10 years.
Damn.
No, that's about what I expected, I guess.
I felt
Yeah.
like it
just
would
never
have been
thought
shorter.
about it.
I thought it would have been something like 3 to 5 years. Would have made me
Well,
feel
it's-
about accurate.
It is shorter if you're delicious, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
That's
guys
true.
don't know. This is a big weight off my shoulders because I did assume that rooster was still after me. And so that was probably 20 years ago. And I'm assuming, I think I'm in the clear at this point.
Well, those are just averages, Travis.
Yeah. He had children, you know?
Could have
We
been
don't-
an
we don't know
exceptionally
for-
long-lived rooster.
We don't know A, how long the longest rooster has lived, and B, how far down the bloodline bloodlust travels. Is all I'm saying.
He taught all his
Could be
children.
inherited.
Yeah, who knows?
And then, you know. So the cockatrice also has a cousin, the pyralisk. Did you read anything about him?
I have no idea what the fuck that is.
I of course I did, but expound, Bryce.
Yeah, so the pyralisk is a lot like a cockatrice, only instead of turning you to stone, he makes you burst into flames.
Jesus.
That's a way cooler monster. Why the fuck didn't we talk about that monster?
Why is that not the highlight of...
'Cause
Why is that out of the monster manual?
But it is in the monster manual, actually.
Is it
but-
really a Pyrolist?
Give us
Well-
a page. Give us a page. No, I'm just kidding.
It's in the older ones. It says, like, much like its cousin, the pyralisk, whatever. So I'm assuming it's in the newer one.
Well, I'll look it up as we go.
Yeah, I didn't even know the pyralisk existed until I started reading about this. And I've read about the cockatrice before and didn't... I
There
guess,
is no
catch on.
pyralisk.
I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not
There's
seeing
no
a
Are you in
Pyralisk
Xanathars?
No,
No, I
but
was
Xanathar
just
doesn't
in the
have extra
regular guy.
monsters, dude.
That's true. What is the Tome of Foes?
That's Mordenkainen's.
Yeah.
And I
Is it
doubt
in
that
there?
has it either.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna
look
go
it up
ahead.
later.
If neither of you are looking, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's in that one.
All right, well, okay, that's fair enough.
I can't disprove you, so it must be true.
Just like God.
Mm-hmm,
Just like-
Second time Travis has choked
the
on his
Bible. Oh, good.
So once
good
you're
Lord.
turned to stone, so 5th edition says 24 hours and you're turned back.
Right.
Older edition says like you have to like collect the feathers from a cockatrice and then make a what is the word they use? It actually a poultice,
no idea.
which I had to
what that
look
is.
up. I had to look up that word. It's like a moist mass that you
Oh.
put on a wound or something and wrap in bandages. So I'm assuming you kind of spread it around your whole body or someone would. You can't. You're a statue, and then it would cure you after some time.
A poultice of what now? What do you got to put in it?
The cockatrice feathers,
Oh, okay.
among other things. I think it lists a lot of things, and it's pretty expensive. So if you're a low level,
Yeah, you're not
team.
going to be able to pay for that until you're like 6th
just-
to 8th level. Something
yeah,
bullshit
you
like
just
that.
have a statue there, and you got to go back to later.
Do you
we
think
gotta
you
deal with
age
this
in that
way
24 hours?
later.
Ooh, that's a good
Do you
question.
think-
Would you age?
Do- Yeah.
I don't. I
Or
don't
are
think so.
you one day younger?
You're like Walt Disney. You're frozen
Yeah.
in time until.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what happened to Walt Disney? Do you think he just
Yeah.
got
So I mean, if you
petrified
guys,
by a
yeah.
bunch of cockatrice?
I mean, think
Try-
about it. You're not just petrified in the our plane. You're petrified in the ethereal plane and whatever other plane. I forget the two. But so yeah, I would say you don't age.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
perfect
I'm
way
with
to
you. I think
preserve
of like if you
yourself,
got a rare cancer, you gotta want to keep Cockatrice around. So you're just like
Yeah.
dapped up every morning to push forward into the future.
You just piss off your cockatrice. Let
Every
him-
morning you just throw a
Which
quick
is easy
rock
to
at your
do.
Cockatrice. Yeah, it's apparently the easiest thing in the world to do.
No, I think
Yep.
I think we've stumbled on the Fountain of Youth. In
Yeah,
Our
the only
somewhat
problem.
arbitrary and half-hearted discussion of Cockatrice, I think we've landed on a pretty existential.
Well, the
answer
problem
to the
with your
question.
Fountain of Youth is you can stay young, but you're not going to live. You're just going to be a statue.
Yeah, I think it's more valuable as like I have a disease that we don't have a cure for yet.
Or if you're like on the cusp of dying, like
Yeah.
you have a mortal wound, like it's going to take 3 days to get him to a town. Let's get a cockatrice over here to
Oh no,
petrify
yeah.
him.
Anybody who was ever bitten by a black mamba, which is the deadliest creature alive, regardless of setting and or magic, that is like immediately just hit him with some concrete until we get this.
Yeah.
And you don't even need the cockatrice, right? You just like you take some of his feathers, you just poke him with them.
Yeah.
When he wakes up.
Oh,
Which a lot of
Nice.
actually, so they were hunted for this. People would collect this, and they would even they would make whips and stuff, and put the cockatrice feathers on the ends. They whip people and
Oh
turn 'em-
shit! See, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Nice.
As a medical use, oh shit, this guy is bleeding out. If we don't get him to the hospital, cockatrice, we're fine. We got 24 hours.
yeah. So now you got more time. You got 24 hours to get.
If
to
you
the
have the
hospital.
feathers, you got however much time you need. You can
I
take
feel
a
like
month.
every ambulance should have 5 cockatrice feathers because immediately you're like, this guy's bleeding out. We could save him if we were at a hospital. Boom, problem solved. Tomorrow morning, Jim in the emergency room is not going to have a great day, but this man's going to live.
In the Forgotten Realms, it's medical malpractice if you don't have cockatrice feathers
Yeah.
in your hospital or
that's-
care.
That's why they're so valuable. If you're an adventurer, go out and find some of these, sell them to the medical staff. They need them. They're gonna pay whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
This
All
is
right,
huge.
This creature, why are we not breeding this already?
Yeah, we need to farm cockatrice.
Oh, what you opening there, Bubba?
Ooh. Grip
Something.
it and rip it.
Well, what is it?
Oh, this one's just it's one of my sipper beers. Let's see. It is the Love Street Carbach Brewing Company.
That's
Love Street.
classic.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
have
my
to go
that's my
into
summer
it, but that's classic right there.
my summer go-to.
I'm drinking my summer go-to Modelo, so I feel you. I've already finished off the Barneys, unfortunately.
Travis is sipping straight moonshine right now. I can't.
That is a good time.
Getting lit. Getting lit up.
I'm lit, fam.
All right, so I guess it's time to talk about how spooky and sexy we find this boy, right?
Okay.
So let's start with, you all want to start with spooky or sexy today?
Spooky, always spooky.
Always spooky? All right, so as per the usual, we're in the park. It's the middle of the night. You're feeding the ducks. So,
So,
what do you find it? And again, it's
I-
a small turkey-sized creature.
Well, large turkey, but
Well,
In this scenario, one of the ducks you're feeding could end up being a cockatrice.
that's what I'm saying. This is where I'm at. So I'm there feeding the big ducks at night. I probably wouldn't realize at first that this isn't also a duck, and then I would just
Yeah.
kind of be startled, like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So I mean, that would get me right away.
that's fair.
Overall spookiness, I after that sort of shock of like, what is that? It'd be more like a curiosity than anything. So maybe a +1
For spooky? Plus
for
one?
spooky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm going to go a 0 because if I'm on the park bench, I don't know that it can petrify me, right? But it's clearly something I've never seen before, so I'm hesitant. So
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
would think
flat.
it
I
was-
think, huh?
I would think it was like a diseased night duck or something.
Yeah, no, there's certainly a moment where I'm like, what the fuck? But I'm not doing anything to make this guy like attack me yet. So if it's just coming up to get some of that bread, I'm giving them hot ducks. Then at that point, like, I'm fine. Like
Then he
that's
eats
a
a
0
duck.
to me.
He eats a duck, and you're like, what the fuck? It's just
Yeah, no,
like,
if he did
get
that,
outta
if he
here.
eats a duck, I'm freaking the fuck out. But that hasn't happened yet. I'm calling it a flat 0 for me.
Okay, all right.
I think much like my experience with the rooster, it would start out actually somewhat comical. You know, I think it's a sliding scale. It would actually start out -2, where you're like, oh, fuck, look at this fucking thing. And then as it started to aggressively chase me, it would quickly move into a +3 territory, where you feel like there's no escape.
There's a lot of pent-up fear in Travis's answer that I'm not
Hey,
going to accept.
If anything starts chasing me, it's going to be a little bit spooky.
Yeah, no. If anything chases me, it adds +2 immediately to that modifier. But right now, I'm just feeding him bread.
Well, it does look like a mangy chicken. You know, and I would initially probably be more entertained than spooked. But yeah, the fact that it's so aggressive, it would bring back some haunting memories. So yeah, it's hard for me to say.
Anyways, it's like I was at Nam again. All right. I think that everybody's kind of on the Travis is more spooked to this boy than us, but he's got a lot to work through with his therapist this week. But we'll see how that goes. How sexy do you find this boy, and why is it -5?
I was going to say -4.
No, that's fine.
Just because I feel like there's
-4 is
always...
probably right.
It's not gross.
It is gross.
It's pretty
It's
gross.
a leathery
It's pretty
chicken.
gross.
It's fucking
Like
disgusting.
the Etten is gross.
And Eden's a -5 because it smells like sewage too.
Yeah, and that's the only reason this is a -4, not a -5.
You know what? That's a fair point. I will actually move mine to a -4 based on your argument.
What about you, Travis? You want to fuck this thing?
Um,
The silence
question.
speaks.
no, I mean I'm just trying to I'm trying to imagine how many Abita purple hazes
It would
I
take.
would need, and I don't think there isn't a number. So yeah,
However,
Okay.
Andy Gators.
A new portion of our sexiness section is how many of the beers you're drinking during this podcast would it take for you to
Yeah.
fuck it? And for
Well,
this
5
one,
points, yeah.
there's no amount. There's
I don't
no
think
amount.
there's an amount.
5.9%.
I agree. I'm
Yeah,
just saying I
don't
want to
think so.
start adding that into it. How many of the beers you're drinking today would make you fuck this creature? And
No.
for this one, none. There's no amount. There's just
Yeah.
no amount that'll make that work.
I don't think any amount of 5.9%ers is going to do it for me.
I'm with you, dude.
However, the Batwing.
I do love a batwing.
People are into bats. People are into
The
bat
wings
wings.
specifically.
You know.
Double.
Yeah.
It's that
Double
skin. That Batwing skin.
Yeah, leather. You know, kind of leads you down the road into the bondage stuff. But I don't know. I'm not thinking.
Speaking
I
my
could ever
language,
be into
Travis.
this. -4. Anyway, we're gonna end this episode with a reading of the Book of Isaiah.
Go ahead, Travis.
Do it
I'm
on
just kidding.
memory.
Yeah, go ahead right away.
right.
Well,
Isaiah
thanks
11.
everybody so much for listening. We really do appreciate you coming back. Again, if you have any questions or debates that happen at your tabletop RPG and or just any nerd topic questions that you want to come up with, regardless of what it is, you let us know and we will talk about it and try to find an answer for you. I'm not sure what answer that's going to be, but we will find it.
It
Most
does not
likely
have
not
to
the
be
correct
D&D.
one.
Oh, most certainly not the correct one.
It doesn't have to be D&D, Lord of the Rings, Star
Anything.
Wars, Star Trek, whatever. We like everything, or we can pretend like we do.
I mean, I don't care. Literally, it can be any sci-fi or fantasy thing I know nothing about, and I will look into it to try to get an answer. Will it be a deep research? No, of course not. I'm lazy, so that's not going to happen.
You want us to debate the finer workings of the Stormlight series by Brandon Sanderson? Let's do it. I'm down.
I had to give up on that. I had to give up on that.
That's Bryce's fun.
Hey, that first book is so good though.
It's good. I've shit, dude. I could not trudge through I think I'm on the third one.
Okay. Well, turns out I can read, guys. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Alcohol in the letter N Arcana, Instagram, Alcohol and Arcana, alcoholandarcana.com is where you can find our podcast. Hopefully, you found it on your favorite podcatcher. If we're missing a podcatcher, I don't think we are. You can let us know. Or you can email us at alcoholandarcana@gmail.com or individually at our names, Bryce, Travis, or Blake at alcoholandarcana.com. That's Bryce, B-R-Y-C-E. All the other ones are spelled like normal people. If you like our show, please tell somebody else about it. I mean, that's the only way people are going to find it because we don't advertise or anything. If you know somebody you think might enjoy it, I would love it if you told them about it.
Yeah, absolutely we would. The more people, the merrier, man. We're enjoying this, and we hope you guys are too. And again, thanks so much for listening, and we will catch you next week. Adios, dudes.
Bye, everybody.
Aloha.